So after several games of Chaos Shuffle in DBD of Killer and Survivor, I have came to my final thoughts to let you guys know what I think and why I believe Chaos Shuffle should stay in DBD. How are we all doing? It's been ages since we've even sat down and recorded proper video for YouTube. Normally I just put up like VODs from Twitch, and you guys have seen them over the past year and a bit. I haven't like even got a schedule for uploading. Like what I do nowadays, I mainly do Twitch. This is for the people that usually watch my videos in the past. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing more voiceovers and shit, like proper commentary videos, because I have a better mic now. I have better software, and I just a lot of fresh ideas for videos and stuff. So I think it's important if I get them out there. And you guys know me, I like to, I guess, just open my mind and just talk about random stuff on DBD, and I'm quite opinionated, so I think it's important. Today's topic is Chaos Shuffle in DBD and why I think it should stay, and I'll be going over the benefits that it does have and why staying in DBD isn't even going to harm the game. A lot of games are very less repetitive with Chaos Shuffle because you're getting used out of pretty much every perk in the game. And just keep in mind, if you haven't played it yet, I definitely think you should, because you've got like 2 days left. Well, it depends when I upload this video. It literally just depends, because I have to edit it and blah blah blah. But you can even play with perks. Like the game will give you perks that you don't even own. So even if you just start DBD today and you jump on it, or you started like a month ago, 2 months ago, and you don't have much perks, then you can just have every perk. I really feel like Chaos Shuffle makes DBD less repetitive, and it brings out a lot of different playstyles you can have, and it's just a mess. That's the whole point. It's full of chaos. Like I can't stress it enough. I don't know why Behavior want to keep it in. They probably will, based on the feedback, and I want to add to that feedback. I want to add to the reason of why it should stay. I'll just break down a few points. So the reason why I don't think it is harmful for the game, a lot of people are playing it. It's just a little modifier they have, which even if they kept it in the game, it's not really harming them. Like it's not like it's, you know, a massive project like My Little Oni. You know, they haven't really put a lot of money into it, I don't think. Just a little modifier where it switches your perks to random stuff, and that's pretty much it. You can still use your own outfits. You can still use every character in the game. You can still use all your add-ons and offerings. The only thing you can't do is choose your perks. So if they really want to incentivize players to use different perks, I feel like this is such a good way to do it, because by this, obviously we all know that a lot more perks will now go up on the statistics. So when they look back at the data they will see all these different perks are being used again and again and again, and it just feels like matches are less repetitive. Honestly, like it does feel like matches are less boring. For Killer and Survivor, you get random fucking perks. You can see what you can do with them. You might get slapped on No Mirror as Survivor. You might play Killer and get the worst build ever without any pop or pain res, or corrupt, just anything like that. Or you might even get Noed. You might even get Decisive. You might even get Dead Hard, Prove Ourself. You might even get a few good perks on the build. Like it just depends. You can get Diversion, where you can throw a pebble. You can get what's that Nicolas Cage perk, where you get that random item in your hand. You just can get a lot of perks you haven't seen or even used before. It's funny because I don't really know fucking half the perks in the game anymore, and I play a lot, and that's because because of the state of the game. You're probably not going to use a lot of perks, because DBD has a meta for Killer and Survivor, so you're not really going to go in a lot of games smacking on different perks, because a lot of them are bad, especially for Killer. For Killer, you're probably going to be using the same builds over and over. A lot of perks don't get used in DBD because DBD relies on the meta. Obviously, if you want to win and you want to play at your best, you're going to use meta perks. Like every now and then you might slap on, you know, like a basement build for Bubba, or you know, if you're playing Survivor, you might jump on a Swift and bring a wiggle off build where you use like No Mirror and the boil over and stuff. But that's really it. I mean, half the fucking perks in the game don't get used because there's no incentive to use them. Like, Behavior really haven't given any incentive to use different perks. It's kind of like the whole incentive to play different sides. So now, if no one's playing Killer, for example, players will receive up to 50 to 100% extra bonus blood points if you do play Killer or Survivor, or vice versa. So yeah, it's pretty much the same here. Players are incentivized to use different perks because we have no choice. The only downfall I see to this mode is that it is Survivor sided, because if you do get a high MMR team, or even a decent MMR team, because obviously skill-based matchmaking is still on, so they haven't switched it off. I don't believe. It feels like it's on for me. You will get a lot of good teams as Killer, and you probably will end up losing. But I feel like this is kind of like a good way to show Behavior. Oh fuck, Killers do need gen defense perks. It's not a matter of, oh, they're just using it to BOP. They are using these gen defense perks to annoy survivors, blah blah blah. Because unfortunately in DBD, the whole narrative is pretty much Killers use gen defense perks because they're bad, because they want to BOP, because they want to annoy survivors. It's just a lot of dumb shit that you see, and I feel like this mode heavily shows that. Like, I don't know how it doesn't. You can see it clearly, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. You can fuck around with all these perks. I've had a few chill games as Killer on this mode, which is surprising. So I feel like maybe the MMR bracket is much lower. Like, they probably have toned it down a bit, which is good. Because obviously Behavior are in control of MMR. They can decide to turn it off. They can decide to turn it up for Killers or Survivors. You get the gist. So I feel like the bracket is less consistent in this update, this little modifier, which is cool, because if it was consistently high, then I would not be playing it at all. So I really feel like this game mode, this little modifier, makes matches way more cool. Because you actually go into the game looking forward or being nervous to seeing what perks you get. And, you know, it makes using different perks more interesting. Because that's the problem with DBD, especially for Killer. Not trying to sound Killer biased. If you play Killer at a high level, you understand what I'm trying to talk about. You can't really use a lot of other perks as Killer unless you get low MMR survivors consistently. So this is a good way for a lot of Killers, and even survivors who like to run meta stuff. It's a good way to switch up stuff. And it's a really, really good way and a healthy way to use different perks. I don't see why they shouldn't keep it in the game. It makes matches less repetitive, makes us use different perks we haven't used or even seen before. It probably can even create some builds, and it's a massive fun, it's a massive laugh. Like everything in DBD or any game, competitive game, you cannot be happy with everything. But I feel like this modifier is really good, and I don't want it to go. If you're fed up with just the normal DBD of seeing the same old meta, you can switch to this mode. If you had enough of this mode, you can switch back to the normal DBD. And so far, matchmaking for both sides have been fucking great. I've jumped on the Chaos Shuffle, and I load into matches in like 5 seconds. I jump back to normal DBD around the same kind of time frame. Do I think if they did keep this mode, it will stay as consistently popular as it is? Probably not. But again, is there really a harm of keeping it in the game? Because I feel like DBD is so repetitive. And don't get me wrong, I have a bunch of hours. Players have a bunch of hours. But just having a little modifier like this just really helped the game out, in my opinion. It helps the gameplay feel way more fresh. And pretty much, yeah, I don't see any possible reason why they shouldn't keep it. Just, I don't see it. I don't see why they shouldn't keep it. A few changes now. A few changes I would like to see in this modifier, if they do decide to keep it, is mixing up the cosmetics that you do have, or even giving you cosmetics temporarily to use that you don't have in the modifier. So you can literally go into the game, a Santa head clown, like the head. You can go in with the elephant body. You could play Blendette, for example, just stuff like that. And it goes the same way with add-ons, so it makes the add-ons completely random for Killer. It makes the offerings random for both sides. It makes the items random for survivors. It makes the add-ons for the items for survivors random too. You kind of get the gist. I feel like if they did this as well, if they do decide to keep it, it'll make everything feel way more crazy. And the big question you probably do have to that possibility, that idea, is what if you lose the add-ons that you do have to use? Well, because there's a game mode and it's random as fuck, I guess the only two ways I can see it is as if you can spend BP in a blood web and you can decide to have those items slash add-ons slash offerings for the game mode, or you can just not, it doesn't count. It doesn't affect your actual game like your normal DBD add-ons or offerings and stuff. They can easily do that. They can just disable the game mode where it affects add-ons and offerings used and stuff. And another thing they should also change, if they do decide to keep it, is the MMR, because I'm not 100% certain that it is toned down. It probably not. Maybe more casual players are playing it, perhaps. It just makes things more unique, right? It makes gameplay less repetitive, and it really adds to the whole definition and title of Chaos Shuffle. That's pretty much it. I think the game is great. I think I've played enough games to see what it's like. The only thing that makes it fun, in my opinion, is the worse MMR, like the casual players, because the lower MMR, the better, obviously. And it's overall good. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it. I've asked a few people on the Discord server. By the way, if you do want to join my Discord server to keep up to date with all the uploads and all the streams on Twitch, which I do stream on every week. I think 2 to 3 days a week I try to stream. I do DBD streams, and I do a once a week random game stream. I mainly stream horror, by the way, so if you guys do like horror single player games and DBD, then feel free to join the server. The server is in the comment section. I pinned it for you guys, so feel free to join and just come and chat, just have a little laugh, play some Swift, and fuck around, even in custom. But that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy, let me know what you think of the Chaos mode. Do you agree with the changes, and how's the MMR been for you guys? Have you guys been getting the same old players, or have you guys noticed that a lot of players play differently? Like, have you noticed the brackets are much lower for you guys? Because for me it is, and I see it, and I've heard about it as well. A lot of positive feedback so far, and they probably will end up keeping it or bringing it back every now and then, which isn't a problem. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They are my thoughts, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Have a good night, guys.